Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's my brethren all around the world watching this video? Hope you're having a great day today. As you're tuning in, do yourself a damn favor, hit the subscribe button, and surely you will not be disappointed. Now, let's get into the boxing talk. It is reported that on the Abner Mares Gervonta Davis undercard, and that's slated to take place on February 9th in Carson, California at the StubHub Center. Interesting fight going on the undercard in the 154-pound division. It's reported that Erickson Lubin, versus Ishe Smith is in the works. Interesting fight for Lubin because, obviously he's in that stage of his career where he's trying to work his way back up after getting brutally stopped, embarrassed, and humiliated by Post-Charlo in the first round. Well, it was like a 30-second fight. Fight ended like with a snap of a finger. So, here we have a guy in Erickson Lubin who was once looked at to be the future of 154, and now he's trying to make his way back. He's only had one fight since the Post-Charlo fight, so it's definitely the best fighter he's fought in Ishe Smith since the Post-Charlo fight. And on top of that, I would even say that Ishe Smith, he can really make a statement against Ishe Smith because when we talk about Ishe Smith, we have a guy that obviously he never was he never proved himself to be a great fighter, but he's been a guy that's proven to be a solid veteran, C-class fighter. But he's been around, he's ran into a title here and there. With that being said, when we talk about Ishe Smith, this guy has been in the ring with the who's who of 154 and 160 pounders. This is a guy that's fought the likes of Randall Bailey, the guy that fought the likes of Daniel Jacobs. He's fought Carlos Molina. He's fought Lara. He's fought Vance Monterosa. He's fought Julian Williams. He's fought Tony Harrison. So he's been in there with some good guys, some big punchers, some guys that really have went on to do some great things in their career. But in his 10 losses, Ishe Smith has never, ever been stopped. And when we talk about Erickson Lubin, he's got his left hand. I think he calls his left hand sledge, and his right hand is called hammer or something like that. So if he calls his hand sledge and hammer, he needs to show it in this fight, and I think he can really make a good statement if he was able to go on there and stop an Ishe Smith. And I think that would be the first baby step in towards letting the boxing world know and letting the 154-pound division know that, hey, not only am I here, but I'm coming for all the smoke in 2019. I am still one of the best talents at 154. I can fight, and I want my rematch. And honestly, if he looks good in this fight, right, like it's crazy how things in life and boxing work, because if he looks good in this fight against Ishe Smith, right, Post-Charlo just lost. It's not impossible, and it's not like the craziest thing in the world to think that maybe sometime in the near future you might get an Erickson Lubin Post-Charlo rematch, because there's no titles on the line. They both have losses, so they can't. Neither one of them can lose the title, and neither one of them can lose the undefeated record. So all that, all the politics and the diva-like ways of how fighters normally operate, saying, "Oh, I don't want to lose my title because it don't benefit me. I don't want to lose my because it don't benefit." They can't really say that shit anymore. It's Charlo is gonna want. Look, Lubin will want to fight Charlo because he wants to avenge that loss. That's number one, and I think Charlo will want to fight Lubin at some point, especially if he looks good, because of the fact that he beat him so easily the first time. He's going to think to himself, why can't I do it again? See what I'm saying? So I wouldn't mind seeing a crossroads fight if he looks good at Ishe Smith. But Ishe Smith is no pushover. This is a guy in Ishe Smith that, just in his most recent fight earlier this year, he fought Tony Harrison to a split decision. So he's not a horrible fighter. He's a guy that can definitely make some things happen. He's a guy that's not like, he's 40 years old now. So, it's all downhill from here for him. He's not a big puncher, but he's crafty. He's got some boxing skills. He's got experience. He's been in there with the best. He's never been stopped. So I would assume if Lubin's able to go in there and Lubin's able to touch them early and hurt him, that you will see Ishe Smith go into kind of a defense mode. You will see Ishe Smith fight not to win, but more so to survive. And I think right now this fight for Lubin is the second litmus test of his career. It's the second test of his career, because the first test came against Charlo. He lost that fight in brutal fashion. Okay, you lost. We're not going to hold that against you. It is what it is. Now you're fighting a guy that I would heavily favor you to beat. Heavily favor you to beat. If you fail to go in there and you don't get this guy out of there in impressive fashion, or if you don't win, or if we struggle mightily and you get knocked down or you're in trouble, I think people are gonna have the right to start saying, man, well, maybe Erickson Lubin wasn't as good as he thought he was. Yeah, he was a good amateur, but the amateurs and pro game is different, and he wasn't able to really make that transition. So the good thing for Erickson Lubin, I'll say this for him. The good thing for him is that he's still young. He's 23. He's the same age as me. He's 23 years old. He's young. He's got a lot of confidence. He's always been a fighter from what I could see and from my couple interactions with him. For better or for worse, he's always been a guy that's been very, very confident. And he's always been someone that can, he believes in himself. I don't think he wouldn't be, you couldn't, he wouldn't have taken that Charlo fight if he wasn't confident in himself, because obviously there is something in his skill set and there's something that he believes about. He believed about himself to take that fight so early in his career. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Erickson Lubin does, because that loss was very, very humbling. Well, I don't want to say humbling, because in my interactions with him, they haven't been humbling. But saying hopefully it was humbling enough for him to get back in the gym, make the adjustments, and continue to get better as a fighter. And hopefully, as he pushes on for bigger and better fights in 2019, that he's his best self. Because this is a guy that, as far as American fighters go, because I really don't rate too many of our American fighters that highly. There really aren't too many great A+ American talents right now. But this is a guy that I think has he has the potential. He has the ability, if he puts it all together, to be an A-level fighter. Whether he does it or not, that remains to be seen. But I think he has it in him. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Erickson Lubin versus Ishe Smith, in the works for the Abner Mars, Gervonta Davis undercard. What do you guys think about this fight for Erickson Lubin? And just where he's going with his career in general. Let me know in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just kidding, dang it. So until next time, take care, guys.